Hey everybody, you are watching the End Time Raid Guide. We are going to be going over the first dungeon in the Twilight Hammer dungeons that have come out in the newest patch. These are from the PTR, so be aware that everything here could change at any time. I may or may not feel lazy enough to redo the video, so this is just what this looked like on PTR, so all disclaimers. As you can see, this takes place in Dragonblight. And the blight is emphasized because there is no snow left, so everybody's pissed. Deathwing has gone on a bender and crashed into the top of Wyrmrest, and now he's throwing up. My thought is probably a little too much for Loco. What we're going to do is go through each fight that you can possibly get, but you get 2 random bosses, and then you'll get the final boss, which I think his name is Merzond or something. So let's get started. So coming into the Azure Dragonshire, you'll see that everything is all screwed up here. We still have Deathwing in the background, recovering from his bender. Jane is here, and she is still mad that Thrall got with Agra, and you're going to have to deal with it. There's a bunch of Pats in here. Remember the guys from Halls of Reflection? It's the same groups, so you're going to have to remember your undead crowd control abilities, so things like Shackle, Repent, Trap, things like that. You won't be able to sheep ghosts, so just keep that in mind. To put her back together, you'll notice these pieces of staff floating around. They seem really large for pieces of a staff, but I guess we're just suspending disbelief. They look kind of like pieces of the World Pillar. She has some abilities. When you start fighting her, she will blink away, but don't chase her because right after she blinks, she shoots out these flame razors, or ice razors or something at you, and they can cause damage and they stun you, so you just want to watch her blink away and then move out of the way of the razors. She'll also periodically throw out this flame core. It's like a flamey ball of rock. So you just want to have somebody run over and touch it. It'll explode and cause like 50,000 points of damage, but if they don't touch it, it will explode on the whole group and cause like 90,000 damage to each person. So definitely have somebody take care of that. The fight other than that is pretty easy, and you will find that Jaina doesn't have too many tricks up her sleeve anymore. So yeah, that's Jaina. So the Obsidian area is where we find Bane. He has probably the most difficult of the trash, although none of the trash in this whole thing is really difficult. There's a lot of Pat activity here, so you'll see if you just stop when you come in, there are 2, I believe, sets of moving Pats, and then there's 3 groups wandering around. But the 3 groups mainly stay where they are, and then the Pat will kind of come around. So if you stay where you are right away, the first Pat will come up. You can just, get rid of the one who's a caster. It's called a seer. You'll have 2 other ones. If you're a tank, you want to face them away from your group so they don't get flamed to death or earth spiked to death. But they're pretty easy. Same thing with the one as you start to go towards Bane. And then when you get to Bane, you'll see that he's out there on an island. He's pissed, probably because he's a giant cow. He has the heaviest weapon. He has 2 main abilities. He throws a totem at one point that will attack your group. You want to grab it and throw it back at him. It's pretty easy mechanic. The other thing he'll do is he will destroy an island randomly. So it can be the island he's standing on, it can be the island someone else is standing on. However, the lava that's around him is of course magic lava, and so if he gets in it, he gets a buff to his weapon. And if you get in it, you get a buff to your weapon. So the goal is to keep Bane out of the lava as much as you can and keep yourself touching the lava if you're a DPS, a melee DPS, as much as possible, because then you get a bonus to your damage. So Bane is again fairly easy. Just remember to spread out on the island so that it doesn't take the whole group out at once if he jumps on your island. And it's pretty much tank and spank. So when you get to Tyrande, you'll notice that everything is black here. She lives in the darkness. Tyrande has become very emo in her old age. She's hanging out in this dark room. She's probably doing some cutting, watching Twilight movies. And her shipment from Hot Topic is late, so we're going to have to fight her. The trash here is pretty basic, so it's all just sitting in the shadow, but you'll see these pillars of light kind of appear around the room. Your job is to run to the pillars of light. The trash will chase you, and you just kill everything in the light. I'm sure that it probably doesn't take damage, and when it's out of the light, or it damages you more. And eventually, Tyrande will become available for you to attack. So you run over to her, you attack her. She's pretty easy. She does a couple of moon-based attacks, of course, and she'll call to Elune at some point in the fight to get more strength. And it's pretty easy. The main thing to watch out for that you can help with is she will do a shootout attack that branches, kind of like lightnings out, so you have to watch out for that as a DPS or a healer. And you also have to watch for, if you're a melee up close, she has a cast that you can interrupt, which is a spreading starburst attack. So watch out for that. Other than that, it's, again, fairly basic, straightforward fight at this point, and you should have no problem. Sylvanas is here as well. You can see that she has pretty much screwed up the Ruby Dragonshire. Nothing good is happening here. There's a lot of undead walking around. The Pats are basically just a large guy in the middle with a bunch of little Geist jumper people with him. They are not too difficult at this point. However, it's a PTR, so anything can change. But they just basically run in, get them together, and AoE them down. It's not difficult. As you head over to Sylvanas, you'll notice she's kind of floating in the air. She's doing her little weird thing that she does. I don't know what that means. And so when you start attacking her, her attacks are pretty basic. She has like a line of arrows that she throws out occasionally. The big thing to watch out for is she summons this ring of gassy undead. And so the undead will start to walk towards you. The whole group needs to pick one. You can see that what we did is marked an area where the one that we want to all attack would spawn, so that everybody knew where to run. Because what will happen is when you kill that one, it'll create a gap in the gas that you can run out through. If you don't kill one and you get and there's no hole in the gas for you to get out through, it will kill you when it comes together. Other than that, she's really easy as well, and she drops a couple nice things. So the last fight that you're going to encounter in End Time is Murzond, which is apparently known as Dormu, with the letters rearranged, and he's also turned into a big black dragon. So this fight, you'll have two sets of trash that will, once you kill them, it will cause him to pull. So the far set of trash, which is probably meant to be a surprise, is at the other side of the hourglass when you come in, so you have to run over there, get them. As a tank, you just want to silence the one that's furthest away. There's two casters on either end. Silence the one that's further away and go for the one that's closer. They should run together. If you're a Blood Elf, you're awesome. And also, you have an Arcane Torrent you can use to help you here. And then the second group is kind of sitting around the hourglass. It's similar to that fight in Hellfire, where you have to get all those wizards together. So once you get the trash down, he will pull towards you. He's pretty easy. He does these, you'll see these little whirlwinds that he shoots out. So it's like a bomb, and then it turns into like this whirlwind thing. When he attacks the tank wants to face him away from the group. I faced him to the side. You can also probably face him backwards because he does a frontal breath, fire breath that you'll want to avoid. As DPS, your job is going to be, especially ranged, to watch the hourglass. So you'll get these 5 little hourglass tokens at the bottom, and those will be times that you can reset the fight. So right now on PTR, it's pretty easy, but everybody's overgeared. I imagine when this hits live, it's going to be a little more difficult. But once you get a lot of these bombs going and a lot of these little whirlwinds, it becomes really hard to do the fight. So you'll have to rewind. And the rewind gives you a haste buff. It resets all of your cooldowns right now. and it resets him. So you can keep damaging him after the thing. So you'll want to watch for too many whirlwinds and then reset the fight, and then you can just keep damaging him. Again, it's pretty straightforward once you get the mechanic. And any questions, just leave them in comments. And that concludes our guide. Thank you for watching and bearing with me in my first video attempt. If you have any questions, leave them in comments. Feel free to subscribe. We're hopefully going to be doing a lot of these, and this is our first one, so thanks again.